Good afternoon, everyone. It's Mr. Montgomery. Today, we're still working with adding two-digit numbers. But today, we're going to do it with a story problem. So, for this front page, they didn't give us any stories. So, I'm going to tell you a story. And as we hear the story, we're going to write the numbers on the side here of this chart up top, the purple chart. We're only going to know the parts. And we're going to have to figure out the whole number. Okay? So, let's see. Let's say, what's a good name to pick? Let's say Brian has 16 hot dogs. He's super hungry. He has 16 hot dogs. And Gladys has 10 hot dogs. She's pretty hungry too. We know the parts. Let's draw each part. So how can we draw 16? Well, we could use a 10 rod. We'll just draw a stick for a 10 rod. And then we can draw 6 ones cubes. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'll draw a 6 one down here. 6 ones cubes. And then how could we draw 10? Well, if we have 10, we can just draw a 10 rod. That's easy. So we have both of our parts. Now let's take these parts and write them in a number sentence. So we have to figure out how many in all. Are we going to use a plus or a minus sign? Well, we're going to use a plus sign. So in this little green circle here, we're going to make that plus sign. And it really doesn't matter which number goes on top, but I like to put the big number on top. So I'll write 1, 6. And then the other number can go on the bottom. 1, 0. See how the 1s stays on the 1 side and the 10s stays on the 10 side? Okay, now we can add them together. 6 and plus 0 make 6. And 1 plus 1 makes 2. Now we can finish our chart. Let's go back up. Since we know the total, we can write the total in this purple box. 16 plus 10 equals 26. And then down here, they want us to rewrite the same number sentence. Just instead of top and bottom, it's going from left to right. Okay, so we can do that real quick. What's the first number we used? 16. And was this a plus or a minus? Well, we need to find out all together, so it is a plus. And then the other number we used is 10. Since we know 16 plus 10 is 26. They said buns, but we said hot dogs. I'll write in the word hot dog real quick. Okay, there we go. Hot dogs. Hot dogs are way more fun than buttons. So how many hot dogs do we have? 26. So now down here we can tell whoever's reading this that we have 26 hot dogs. Okay. So this time, I guess for fun, we'll stick with frogs because frogs are pretty fun. So let's do another story. Let's say that Horhenson caught, let's say he caught a lot. He caught 21 frogs. Whoa. 21 frogs. And then, let's say Malene caught 20 frogs. They were having a frog catching contest. Okay, so now let's draw out how many we have. How can we make 21? Well, we can use our tens of rods. We would draw 2 rods because we have 2 in the tens place. And we draw 1 cube by itself because we have a 1 in the ones place. Now, how would we draw 20? Well, we look at how many tens. We have 2 tens, so we have 2 10 rods. Now, we can do something here that we didn't do on this side. We can actually use our picture to count all together if we want. Or we could just write the numbers top and bottom and figure out that way. We're going to do it both ways, so it's okay. So now that we know our parts, 21 and 20, we can write them in our addition sentence. So we have 21. That's our first number. And then our other number is 20. And our ones stay on the one side because 20 has 0 ones. And then 21 has 1 1. Stay on the one side. And they both have a 2 in the tens house, so we put them in the tens place. And since we want to know how many they have all together, we're going to add. So we have a plus sign. So what is 1 plus 0? 1 plus 0 is 1. And what is 2 plus 2? Well, 2 plus 2 is 4. Okay, so 21 plus 20 is 24. How about we count our picture? We'll count it up all together to see if it matches this answer. Let's do that. So when we see a tens rod, we count by tens, and we're going to count all the tens first, and then we'll count by ones. So ready? 10, 20, 30, 40, 41. We have the same number. I guess we did all of our adding right. So now let's rewrite it the other way that they want us to, from left to right. So we'll write down 21 plus 20 equals 41. But we're not done yet because we don't know what it is. 41 watts. 41 watts. We need to know that it is 41 frogs. All right. So how about we open up our math packets and go to the inside page. Okay, I'll give everyone a couple more seconds to get to the inside page. All right, everyone should have their books open. And I don't really like the way they do it by having these little circles, but these little circles all make a row of 10. So when we do this, we're just going to make 10 rods because that's what we know. That's what we've been practicing. That's what we're going to stick with. All right, now let's read the story they gave us and find out why they did everything they did. Okay? Let's do it. And as we go along, we make sure we always circle the important things that we hear. Like what number? Is there any special words that tell us if we're going to add or subtract? Okay, so let's read it. Ellen has 21 stickers. 21 is super important. Circle it. Her brother gives her 20 stickers. Another important number. How many stickers does Ellen have in all? And we know that in all is super important because that tells us that we're going to add in all. Okay. Now that we know our numbers, I like to write them down on the side so it matches each side. So here was 21. Over here is 20. Okay. And we're going to draw it. So we're going to make a 10 rod here. We're going to make a 10 rod here. And we're going, because there's two 10s, right? And the number 21, there's two 10s, and there's 1, 1. So we'll make a little ones cube here. And then we're going to draw out the number 20, which has two 10s. So we just draw two 10 rods. And you know what I just realized? These are the same numbers we just used. How silly is that? But that's okay. So now we can put our numbers into a number sentence. And we'll stack them top and bottom. So since it says in all, that tells us we're going to add. And we're going to put that nice plus sign right in the green circle. And then we're going to write our numbers. We have 21. So we'll write down 21. Then we have 20. And we'll write down the number 20. Okay, now we can add them. 1 plus 0 is 1. 2 plus 2 is 4. And when you write your number sentences top and bottom, you got to always make sure that your 1s lines up and your 10s line up. You have to, or else you're going to get a little confused and we might get the wrong answer. We don't want that to happen. Not at all. And then let's double check with our picture to make sure that this matches our answer over here. We count by 10s first and then 1s. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 41. So write down that 41. And we have 41 here, 41 here. Now they want us to rewrite the number sentence again. So we write down the 21. And it's plus, because it tells us in all, these special words right here, super important. And it's plus 20. And we now know that 21 plus 20 is 41. And 41 what though? 41 what? We have to tell everyone that it is 41 stickers. Got to make sure you write it next to the word stickers so we know what we're talking about here. Okay, now for number 2, I'm going to read it out loud to you. And then, as I read it, you're going to circle the important things. Are there any important numbers? You got to circle it. Are there some super important words? You got to circle those too. And then, after you do that, you're going to write each number next to our chart and draw it out. After you draw it out, we're going to put it into our number sentence going top and bottom right here. Okay? Then after that, you can stop because I know that this is just some extra writing, and we'll do that part together. Okay? So I'm going to read it to you now. Make sure you circle the important things. Barry has 12 red cars. He has 10 blue cars. How many cars does Barry have in all? Okay, now go ahead and make sure you circled all the important things and solve this story problem. Okay, I think that might have been enough time, guys. Let's go over it together. If you're not done and you still need some time, hit that spacebar on that keyboard. It'll pause the video and you can finish up your problem. If not, let's get going. Okay, I'm going to reread it. I'm going to circle all the important things and see and look at your paper and make sure that what I circled is the same thing that you circled. Barry has 12 red cars. And 12 is important because it tells us how many red cars. He has 10 blue cars. That's important too. Circle number 10 because we need to know how many blue cars he has. How many cars does Barry have in all? And in all is so important because that tells us if we're going to add or subtract. So, we know that the one number is 12 and the other number is 10. Now let's draw it out. Okay, how many 10s are in 12? 1, so we're just going to draw one 10 rod. And how many 1s are in 12? 2, so we draw 2 little cubes for our 1s. And for this other number, 10, how many are in the 10s place? Just 1. So we just draw one 10 rod. And now we can write our number sentence. So, to write the numbers, we have 12. Okay, we have our numbers. And are we going to add or subtract? We're going to add because it says in all. It has these super important words right here. In all. And now we can add them together since we have our 1s in the 1s column and our 10s in the 10s column. That's so important, guys. You cannot switch them. This is why it's really important that we write our numbers the correct way. So 2 plus 0 is, that's 2. And then 1 plus 1 is 2. So now we know that 12 plus 10 is 22. But we can also count our picture to double check our work. Or if you'd like to count the picture first and use this problem, the number sentence to check your work, that's fine too. So let's go ahead and count these up. So we'll count our 10s first. 10, 20, and now our 1s, 21, 22. And we got 22 here, 22 down here. They match. We're good to go. Now we got to make sure we write it the correct way going from left to right. So it doesn't matter which number goes first because we're adding. So I can write my 12 first. And it's plus because it's in all. And it's plus 10. And we already found out that 12 plus 10 is 22. And 22 what though? It's 22 cars. So we have to write it next to the word cars. So we know what we're talking about here. Because we wanted to know a certain number of something. So we found out that number. But we have to make sure we know how many what. It's how many cars. All right. If you are a little confused still, come sit with the rest of the class on the carpet. Okay? Because I'm probably still teaching them, and you guys might have gotten done a little early. Come sit on the carpet, and just rehearing it can help. If you're good to go and you're thinking, man, this is easy, then go ahead back to your seat and do the rest of the packet on your own. All right, and I will talk to you guys later.